For the hour, Kovensky from Octavia Investment. And I know you. I know you. You know, you're a very focused investor on your home market. But you know, if you look at the manufacturing data, you look at the factory capacity utilization numbers. You know, not good in Europe, not great in the U.S. And then China. You know, yesterday we had a number called the HSBC PI, which showed a further contraction. We don't have a savior left in the world. And is that partly responsible for the fact that you're 100% in the credit markets? I mean, you're more an income guy than, you know, capital growth is not part of your vocabulary.
No, and again, if I thought, I would go 100% equities if I thought that we had reached a point when equity values made sense. I don't know what earnings are. So you have, again, take the U.S. Sorry, I mean, I'm very eccentric.
No, it's okay. But what do you mean you don't know what the earnings are? In the last S&P 500 rollout,
okay, 2/3
of the companies beat on earnings.
So in the short term, so many people always say stocks are cheap, stocks are cheap. You know, 10 times earnings, 12 times earnings. The problem is I don't believe the E. The problem with the earnings is the U.S. runs a $1.3 trillion annual deficit. It's almost 10% of GDP. What if the U.S. had a balanced budget? What would GDP be? Then what would earnings be? And the U.S. cannot, in perpetuity, run $1.3 trillion annual deficits. I don't believe any of the earnings numbers. And then go to Europe, it's the same thing. And then the problem with China is China's an export country. At the end of the day, it exports. That's its driver. So until it's 100%, or not, I'm sorry, until it's, you know, largely a domestically oriented economy, they are going to be affected by the U.S. and they're going to be affected by Europe. And the U.S. and Europe will ultimately go through. There'll be contraction, and that's why I don't think there's inflation. I think it's the opposite. There's deflation.
You may not like equities in your home base there, but you know what? China is the complete opposite in terms of in terms of their fiscal positioning. You know, this is not a deficit country.
Correct.
They're worried about, you know, what's going to happen in their treasuries. They're probably making a bomb in the U.S. Treasury market right now, and they do backstop a lot of their corporates there. You know the names I'm talking about, like PetroChina, China Mobile. I mean, China Mobile has more accounts than people in America. I think it's like 2 times the population of America.
No,
that's not going to go away, and that does have a dividend payout, and it's better than 2-year treasuries.
And by the way, take an Apple, for example, and put aside whether you think Apple's a single product company, because it really is. I mean, great, phenomenal company, but look at its growth, look at its profile. Phenomenal company. Doesn't mean that it can't fall to 300 or 400 if the markets sell off and people want liquidity. And that's the same thing. If you look at the Shanghai market, it's down significantly, even though you have all these great fundamentals. Yeah. If the market wants liquidity, it's going to sell.
Okay. Marty, Lisa, can you come in here and help me out? I'm trying to get Andre to help our stock markets here and take some of that money parked in boring treasuries and buy a stock, a really big stock.
Well, you know, I have to say, I've been looking through his notes. I agree on the rental income theme in the United States, Andre, and I just want to know which markets over there are you the most bullish on for rentals?
She's a property matron.
Yeah. So it really, I mean, it's hard to say specifically. It really gets into, it's really market by market, property by property. There are certain markets I won't touch. So, for example, I won't touch San Francisco. And the reason is...
City. What's wrong with you?
And the reason is because the government has rent controls. So you can't get people out. So I don't really want to look at, you know, markets like that. But if they're more liberal markets from the standpoint of you can actually raise rents on people, because then you have your inflation hedge. And if I'm wrong, if there's inflation, you can always raise rents.
Okay, I got to make a quick break here. We're back in less than 3 with Andre Kovensky. He wants a place more liberal than San Francisco, California. What's the world coming to? We'll be back with Forex Chat right ahead.